Let's be honest, procrastination gets a bad rap. It's often seen as laziness or a lack of self-discipline. We're told to just power through or just do it. But when you can't, the guilt sets in. We start to feel like we're not enough because we don't have that magical ability to always feel motivated. Why do we feel this way? Because procrastination makes us feel pressured. The more we put something off, the bigger it looms in our mind. We feel overwhelmed by the growing weight of the task, and that overwhelm can paralyze us. So we avoid it even more, and it spirals. But here's the thing. Procrastination is not inherently bad. In fact, it can be a signal. It's your brain saying, I'm not ready to tackle this yet. What if instead of fighting procrastination, we worked with it? What if we used it as a tool to make progress in a way that feels natural and sustainable? Here's where procrastination gets interesting. It's deeply connected to delayed gratification. Think about it. When we delay gratification, we choose to wait for something better. For example, saving money for a trip instead of splurging on daily takeout. We view that as a strength, right? So why can't procrastination be the same? The truth is, procrastination and delayed gratification share the same core idea, waiting. The difference lies in why we're waiting. Delayed gratification is purposeful. Procrastination feels accidental or reactive. But what if we flipped the narrative? What if we could make procrastination intentional? Here's how we start rewiring our mindset. Instead of seeing procrastination as avoidance, we see it as preparation. For example, delaying a difficult conversation might give you time to actually think through what you want to say. Postponing an overwhelming project could give your brain the space to subconsciously problem solve. It's not about avoiding, it's about strategizing. Procrastination can be powerful when we use it strategically, not just to start something we want to do, but also to stop something we wish we didn't. I'll show you 3 techniques that can do both. Help you start good habits and extinguish those bad ones. The first technique is what I call the tomorrow trick. It's simple. You just tell yourself, I'm going to do this tomorrow. But the key is to attach it to a specific small action to that promise. Let's say you've been meaning to start journaling, but can't find the time. Instead of forcing yourself to write pages and pages today, say, tomorrow I'll just jot down 1 sentence in the morning. That small commitment lowers the pressure and makes it easier to start. And once you do, you'll likely write more than 1 sentence anyway. Now let's flip it. Say you're trying to stop having dessert every night. Instead of saying, I quit today, tell yourself, tomorrow I'll skip dessert for just 1 night. That gives you a mental break from the all or nothing pressure. When tomorrow comes, you're more likely to follow through, and 1 night can turn into 2, and then 3. The second technique is called substitute the action. This one's about redirecting your energy. When you're tempted to procrastinate or indulge in a bad habit, you choose a smaller, healthier action instead. For example, if the idea of cleaning your whole house feels overwhelming, start with just 1 corner of the room. This micro action creates momentum. You'll often find that once you start, it's easier to keep going. Now, let's apply this to a bad habit. If you're tempted to just scroll on your phone for an hour, try substituting it with reading 1 page of a book or writing down 1 thing you're grateful for. The idea isn't to quit cold turkey, but to redirect your attention to something productive or meaningful. The third technique is create a daily delay plan. This is about giving yourself permission to procrastinate, but with structure. Here's how it works. Set a timer for a short amount of time, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. During that time, allow yourself to avoid the task or even indulge in the habit you're trying to stop. But when the timer rings, take 1 small action toward your goal. For example, if you've been avoiding studying, set a timer for 15 minutes and use that time however you want without guilt. When the timer goes off, open your book and commit to reading just 1 page. That delay lowers the mental resistance, making it easier to start. If your goal is to cut back on social media, use the same approach. Set a timer and let yourself scroll for 5 minutes guilt-free. When the timer rings, switch to something else, like taking a quick walk or stretching. Over time, those small delays can reduce the habits hold on you. The beauty of these techniques is their flexibility. Whether you're trying to build good habits or let go of a bad one, procrastination can actually help you make progress, one small step at a time. I want to share a story that really illustrates the dual power of procrastination, both the risk and the rewards. A client once told me about how they'd fallen into the habit of procrastinating meals. At first, they would just delay lunch by an hour, but over time it became a way to avoid eating altogether. It spiraled into a dangerous cycle. When they shared this with me, I realized how easily procrastination could go from a helpful tool to something very harmful. But instead of rejecting the idea altogether, I wondered, could I flip this concept to create healthy habits instead? For example, I used procrastination to help me stop eating sweets after meals. And instead of quitting cold turkey, I tell myself I'll have dessert in 10 minutes. That delay gave me the time to question whether I really wanted it. And over time, I found I didn't crave it as much anymore. I applied the same idea to social media. Instead of just endlessly scrolling, I'd set a 5-minute timer and tell myself I would stop afterward. That small act of delaying my habit helped me regain control, and eventually I found myself spending less time on my phone altogether. The key here is balance. Procrastination, like any tool, can be helpful or harmful depending on how you use it. The goal is to make it work for you, not against you. Procrastination doesn't have to be your enemy. It can actually be a really powerful ally. By using these techniques, you can start building the habits that you want and let go of the ones that don't serve you. Just remember, this tool works best when it's used intentionally and with balance. If you find yourself slipping into unhealthy patterns like avoiding meals or letting procrastination control you, take a step back. Tools like this should help you move forward, not create more challenges. Self-care and self-awareness are key. Now it's your turn to master your next moment. Pick one habit you want to start or one you'd like to let go of and try using the tomorrow trick, substitute the action, or create a daily plan. Even a small step can lead to big changes. Before you go, leave a comment below and tell me what's one habit you want to start or one you want to let go of. Which of these techniques are you excited to try? Your story might inspire someone else to take their first step. Procrastination doesn't have to hold you back. Use it wisely, stay balanced, and keep moving forward toward the person that you want to be. Until next time, go master your next moment.